Well, for more, Sarah Morris is in Manchester and joins us live. Good morning to you, Sarah. So, first of all, let's pick up on these leaks in the United States. The UK government say they're furious that these pictures have been published by the New York Times. They're going to be taking up the issue with Washington, I understand.
That's exactly right, Kamali. Theresa May will have, I imagine, quite stern words with President Donald Trump when they meet at the NATO summit in Brussels today. Basically, the UK is losing patience here with this one. It's not the first time. These images that have been published in the US newspapers are obviously very distressing for the victims and their family, but the authorities here say they also compromise the investigation that police are trying to run. Now, it was only a couple of days ago that the US authorities also leaked the name of the bomber. Now, the UK police were furious about that. It took away whatever upper hand they did have, because as we know, they are trying to close in on what they believe is a terror network that's operating, and they certainly didn't want to give that terror network the heads up that they were sort of onto them, or certainly knew the name of the bomber. So that's very, very disappointing. The mayor here in Manchester has gone a little bit further. He's tweeted today saying that the actions by the US authorities and the US newspapers, particularly to publish those photographs of what looks like the aftermath of the bomb, were arrogant and wrong and disrespectful to the people here in Manchester.
OK, Sarah, and where are we with the investigation currently? There have been more arrests.
That's right. It looks like the net is closing in on what police believe could be a terror cell that's been operating here in Manchester. So far now, 8 people have been arrested. There were 2 further raids overnight here in Manchester, some of them reasonably dramatic, with controlled explosions to blow open the doors of some properties. We understand a woman was arrested, but she has been released without charge. But also the investigation expands further than just here in Manchester. We also know that the bomber's brother and father have been arrested in Libya. Now, we understand they've been arrested by militia in Libya that are somewhat aligned to the UN-backed government there in Libya. However, what sort of intelligence sharing can go on between Libya and the UK is a little up in the air. Of course, Libya not the most stable of countries, so time will tell, I guess, as to whether or not the father and son of the bomber do end up being investigated by the UK authorities. But we certainly do know that one other brother of the bomber has been arrested here in Manchester.
And finally, Sarah, what can you tell us about this line that we're hearing this morning about a donation scammer? What's the latest you can tell us about that?
It's sad, isn't it, Kamali, when some of the worst things happen, you see the best in humanity, but then there's also those who choose to exploit it. Many fundraising operations have been set up here in Manchester. There's been online fundraising, there's been comedy gigs that are taking hand-arounds while they're going on. We've seen donations being made on the street, and so far, more than $2.5 million worth of money has been raised for Manchester and the victims of this attack. But there are also some people who are running fraudulent, if you like, scams to try and scam money out of people who thought they were donating to the victims and the family and to this city, but in fact they've been donating to scammers. So police obviously now having to not only look into the investigation of the bombing, but also now chasing down these fraudsters.
Incredible stuff. OK, Sarah Morris, thank you.